Priya Praveen now. Over to you, Priya.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Thank you for having me here. It's as everyone said that it is really an honor to be here, picking up one person from Kerala Samajam School, and I'm proud to be a student. And Joy ma'am was my first standard and second standard teacher. She used to teach me EVS, and very beautiful moments. Though we had only 2 years with you, ma'am, you were only there with us for 2 years, and after that you left us and continued with your journey as a teacher in Gulf. Those 2 years were really, really memorable. In fact, when I met you last week, also I told you that when we had our EVS classes, it was joy to have you. Initial days, yes, we were scared of you. The experience, I tell you, it was your initial teaching profession, teaching years. That Hindi and that tall look, we always used to be scared. But as you picked up with our EVS classes, you started with our classes, I still remember you getting with the small, tiny bottles with the insects and showing us how the legs of the insects. It was like experiential learning for us. We as a teacher, me, do it. I've learned it from you. You always help for me, and as you it was not willingly being a teacher. Even with me, I was also not in a journey where I wanted to be a teacher. It was like a push from my mother that you have to be a teacher. So thank you so much for being a teacher. I really look forward for you. You have always been supportive. You have always been encouraging. In fact, we have not met long years, right? Though we are family friends. I know you and my mom are in touch. You and my mom are in touch. But we were not in touch much. But it was really happy when you called up and told me that Priya, I want you to be in. I'm calling you. It was really, in fact, joy. And as you said, as joy, smile itself gives us the energy, gives us that support to be there in the class, to enjoy your class. Thank you so much, ma'am. And
Priya, do you have some good moments?
I have a lot of things to say, but good moments. It was we were too small, sir. Initially, it was their first standard and second standard life. Yes, there are a lot of teachers in our school, but there are some teachers who make that difference, and Joy ma'am was one of them, and we always remember her, and whole of our batch remembers her. I said, as you said, in EVS classes, she used to come with those tiny boxes where she used to get cockroaches, she used to get frogs to show us, she used to get all different types of small. Even with plants, she used to show us the roots, the stem. When we had learned with others, it was like plant, there's a root, you just show the drawing. But she has always been an experience. She used to show us each and everything when she used to teach. Like it was like hands-on activity, taking us out, digging us the mud and showing us the earthworm there. All these things has really, we now in CBSE schools say that hands-on activity, but she used to do it in a state syllabus school 20 or 25 years back. So I am proud, ma'am, I'm proud. And when I tell that you are my teacher and she is a principal of so-and-so school, it feels really honor for me, a proud moment for me, and I have a feather on a cap telling that she is my teacher. And
right.
Thank you for having me.
Kshipraj, over to you now. It's your turn.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Valerian sir and Rajesh sir. It's a pleasure to be on this show, and I should be thankful to Joy ma'am for inviting me to this show. So my very first memory of Joy ma'am was when she just joined Canada High School CBSE, and it was the start of a new academic year. So I just happened to enter the lobby of her school, and my eyes directly fell on the nameplate outside her cabin. What fascinated me was the amount of degrees that were written below her name. So I go home that day and ask my dad, what is PGDHRM? So even dad had a slightly surprised expression on his face, like, why is he asking me this? Why is he asking me that? And I told dad that, so there is this new principal at my school, and she has so many degrees below her name. Can a single person have so many degrees for herself? So he had a laugh, and but that is how she is. Now I do realize that after being guided by her during my high school years, I realize her stature in the education fraternity of Mangalore. She is a great educator and a tremendously good administrator, because I do remember coming to the inauguration ceremony of Canara High School CBSE back then in 2009, and I joined Canara CBSE after that. And I still remember, if not for Joy ma'am, it would be really difficult for Canara High School CBSE to get affiliation from Canara, from the CBSE board itself. And she played a huge part in getting that affiliation. She used to carry the teachers around her very well. She used to she guide all those teachers very well. She knew how to put on a show, because I still remember our annual days very clearly. All my friends remember all our annual days very clearly, because we used to literally put on a show on our annual day. And it was so many people's effort, so many children's efforts, so many teachers' efforts, and it was the brilliant planning of Joy ma'am that every parent who came to the annual day used to go back satisfied, used to go back feeling proud of their own child, that yes, this was something epic. And I still remember my English literature classes where Joy ma'am used to take it combined for all three sections, and very smoothly used to put her life stories as examples and tell us the chapters. It is fun. And also, to add what Arghya was telling before, the light concept, I still remember uh, that was something which put in a competitive spirit in all of us, because I still remember those sports days where we used to have relays, 4 into 100-meter relays, and every single child used to be so excited for that and used to literally put in their 100% to just win it for their house. I remember loyalty. I myself was in loyalty, loyalty, integrity, generosity, honesty, tranquility, all these qualities. She is responsible to inculcate all these qualities in us. And I still meet some of my friends, and we just have a light moment telling, "Hey, you were the integrity vice captain, right?" So every one of us still remembers that. And there is another very uh, not very common thing that every principal would do, was the principal's question of the day, which ma'am used to announce, I think, at the end of each day. And I still remember students in the first standard, second standard asking their teachers, "Ma'am, what is the question? I have to write it down. I have to go home and find out the answer." And these are not very trivial questions. They were actually very good questions. And it used to, every day you learn something new outside your textbook, outside those four walls of your classroom. And also, I've had the opportunity to discharge my duties as a head boy of the school under Joy Ma'am's guidance. And the values and skills that I gained during my tenure is what makes me stand apart today in BITS Pilani. For me, she is someone who has given her whole life to students and making their experience a joyful experience.
What are our reactions for the students? They have shared so much, and let's listen from their teacher. What are her feelings and what are her reactions?
In fact, I'm speechless. I did not know that my students think so high about me. Thank you, children. Thank you so much. I feel really proud. And whatever I have taught you, you have taken it in letter and spirit, and that's something very nice. That makes my life satisfied. I feel so very nice saying that my children will teach another 100 children outside. So that is a great feeling, a feeling of happiness, a feeling of satisfaction. So in fact, Priya was telling about the earthworms and the frogs and cockroaches. Well, it happened like this when I was in Kerala Samajam. As she said, I used to do all these things, put all insects and all in small boxes and take it. And one fine day, I had to teach them about a reptile. And so I called my neighbor boys and I said, can you please catch a non-venomous snake and give it to me? I want to show it to my children. So there was this little boy in my neighborhood who caught it is called as pagale. Pagele it is called.
Pagele,
it is a non-venomous snake. So he put it in one, in those days, injection bottles. It is not the plastic bottle, the glass bottle. So he put the snake into the glass bottle and he brought it and kept it on my doorstep and he went off. And my mother saw it and she gave such a screaming. She said, you better leave this snake right now outside the compound. Otherwise, you and the snake will go outside the compound. Because I do not know whether this is true, but it was said that those snakes, that particular breed of snake, invites other snakes when harmed. So my mother did not want to have any snakes in the house. So she said, nothing doing, you're going to leave the snake out. So I could not show the snake to the children. But nevertheless, it has been a great experience. Even now, I love to have hands-on for the children. That's the way they learn better.